Okay, this is going to be a post that's partially about investing, but it's also about thinking about the way we think and how we handle ideas that are sort of off the beaten path or sound sort of strange on their face. And what does our ego do in response to ideas that are somehow, they seem wrong on their face? So I guess I want to talk about a few different aspects of human psychology, and in particular how humans are, we're a type of herd animal, and often the safest, warmest, most comfortable place is right in the center of the herd with everybody else, right? And the problem with investment domains is the herd, it's not always wrong, but there are certain times where the herd is really wrong. And you have to change. You have to step out of the herd and do something that feels very, very uncomfortable, where you're out of the herd, you're kind of naked and alone, and our egos don't like it, and it feels sort of uncomfortable on a bunch of levels. And this is where the investing domain, it does not pay to be a herd thinker. It pays to be a contrarian thinker or an out-of-the-box thinker. So you want to try and cultivate that in yourself. And then there's another aspect of this, which is rejecting ideas when you first come in contact with them. I think our egos, they are trying to protect us. They're often reflections of our false self because they reject things that that actually might help us grow. For example, a lot of times, you're prevented from taking steps to change yourself or your behavior because of sort of an egoic response. Well, the ego is designed to sort of keep a homeostatic constancy in our comportment, in our behavior, and in our environment. And so if you get an idea that seems strange, it's very easy for the ego to just reject it right away. And in the investment world, I think about Bitcoin. When my ego first came in contact with Bitcoin as an idea, and it was a long time ago, I just tabled it. I kind of thought, that's sort of strange idea just to pretend that that's money. And I just kind of blew it out of the water, stupidly, obviously. And what I want to do is give you a tool for when your ego does shoot down an idea, instead of just accepting or rejecting the idea, instead to just sit with the possibility that the idea might be okay. And so instead of rejecting the idea, to kind of roll with the idea and then roll past and see what's behind the idea. And the thing about Bitcoin is, whether you think it's stupid or not, really behind the idea of Bitcoin is a whole panoply of interesting ideas about different types of risks in currency, in government monetary policy, in how to store wealth, right? It doesn't mean that Bitcoin itself is a good thing or not. It's just the idea behind that idea is incredibly valuable. And now if you think about it, everybody really that has come in contact with the idea of Bitcoin is now conversant in a lot of the silent risks of modern currencies, modern fiat currencies. I mean, back in the past, only nerdy economists would ever talk about this, but it is actually a serious risk that every civilization faces at some point, right? So the idea of not rejecting Bitcoin and instead rolling with the idea leads to many, many insights. And this is where you can find certain tools in your intellectual landscape that can give you a new way of thinking about things, a new paradigm for how to think about things. So, Bitcoin is just the example, but the concept I want to talk about is, what is your ego's reaction to an idea that seems foreign or strange or immediately wrong? And instead of rejecting the idea, to catch your ego doing that and to roll with the idea and see what's behind it. So try to use that as sort of a tool of your intellectual landscape, a process of navigating your intellectual landscape, and you'll find that it can help in many domains, and certainly in the investment domain, it can put you in contact with sort of ideas that can open your mind, certainly investment themes that maybe are easy to reject, but behind them are really, really good potential ideas that are sort of out of consensus, right? The whole idea is to not get too comfortable in the herd and to subject your mind to kind of ideas that your ego would really like to reject, but you don't let your ego reject them. And then you see what's behind those ideas. So as always, I hope these videos are helpful, and thank you as always for watching.